Hi, welcome to Fly Fishing Northwest. I'm Pete Van Gytenbeek, your host, and today we're in northern Idaho in the panhandle in pursuit of the wily cutthroat trout. Just to set the area for you a little bit, up here on my left, if we were to go to the high ground about 3,000 feet above us, we'd be in the Bitterroot Mountains, and over the top of that into the valley of the Clark Fork. The top of the mountain is also the Idaho-Montana line. Straight over my head, St. Regis, Montana, and following the river on to the west, it goes to Lake Pend Oreille, and then on down through Spokane. Brought some guests as always. My sidekick Les Johnson's with us. I brought my favorite fishing partner, my wife Elizabeth, and Les has brought his grandson Daniel, who's getting his first lesson in fly fishing. So let's get down and see Les and hear a little bit about why the St. Joe is such a wonderful river.
A little harder on the back cast, a little higher.
Boy, Les, he's really coming along.
He's coming along. He's doing great.
Say, tell our viewers just why it is. You've been touting this river for some time. It's certainly a beautiful spot, but what about the St. Joe? What's so special about it?
Well, first of all, it's a cutthroat river, and you know I do like cutthroat. And the state of Idaho realized several years back that this was a real fragile resource, that these fish grew very slowly, and that by continuing to take them in the numbers they did, that it was just, the fishery was just going to be gone. So they closed it for several years, and it only reopened in 1989, and that was under catch and release rules. And from what I hear, the size of the fish has jumped from a 10 to 11 inch average up to around 14.
Well, that's a proof that putting the catch and release really makes a difference.
It does.
And the biomass, I understand that's increased also.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fish out here right now. It's just I've had this one refuse me twice on a big fly, so I'm going to something smaller.
You know, it's terrific. I mean, here we are, we're 28 miles, and granted it's over a hill, but 28 miles from an interstate, height of the tourist season. And there are darn few people here. I mean, this is just a gorgeous piece of country and a nice river, and the fish are rising.
Well, the nice thing is it is far enough away, too, that it is kind of a hideaway, but you can get here in a family sedan. You might not keep the car too clean, but you can sure get it here.
The upper part of the stream, this is scenic and recreational national river, and
Right.
wild and scenic up high.
Above the ranger
trailhead.
station where the trailhead starts, and it's national scenic.
Isn't it nice that Idaho had the foresight to do what they've done, to take care of this river? Look at a cutthroat, which is a very fragile fish, as you and I know, not too smart,
Yep.
needs a lot of protection, stopped stocking, went to catch and release, and they've maintained a fishery pretty much like it was way back.
And it'll be here forever now.
It will be if they keep taking care of it.
That's right.
Well, I think I'm going to go find out. I think I know already why you like this river so much, but
Well, I got to get this light leader on.
you've got to get a
smaller
leader
fly.
on, and we got to get Daniel going, but
Yep. Well, it looks like he's doing better than I am.
I think I'll put a fly on and see if I can catch a couple of these things too. There's some lovely cuts in this river, I understand.
Yeah, well, I had that one roll twice right under the...
That's like that's like the big one got away.
He hasn't got away yet.
All right, see you in a bit.
Okay.
We'll be back with more Fly Fishing Northwest from the St. Joe River in Idaho after these messages. So generally you come to a stream like this and you're going to put on something that's about the right size and probably a caddis, but it's something you can see.
Yeah, I was hoping that, you know, if there was some kind of a late hatch last night, they might still be hitting something like this, but I'm about ready to change.
Could be maybe 7 inches long if we stretch him.
There's a couple bigger ones than that over there.
Well, we'll give it the old Jersey stretch, Les.
I like that.
Somebody said to us a couple of weeks ago, they're all nice ones.
That's right. A friend of mine used to say they're under 20 inches, about 12 inches under.
Come here, little feller. God, he's pretty. So small, he's almost got his paw marks. They're pretty fish. They're cut. From whence the name. Goodbye. Elizabeth carries a lot of good small nymphs, especially the little mayfly nymphs, these braided nymphs right there, heavy black monofilament to create the body. Again, a little sparkle, a little pheasant, like an emerging pupa, but a lot of good little bugs. Generally speaking, if you can find a bug that is generally the right color and the right size, and then present it properly, that's all one really needs. The reason you see all of us standing around the stream looking intently into one box after another is because we've become totally disorganized during the year, and we can't find where we put the flies away. But part of the whole fun of fly fishing is, is the flies. Trying to guess the patterns, having a lot of patterns, creating your own if you happen to tie. All of that's just part of the fun of fly fishing. It seems like it's primarily a caddis stream, Les, huh?
Oh, yeah.
From what we were digging up out of the rocks last
yeah.
night. There he goes. There goes that stick. You'd swear that was a stick. You know that's a stick. Look at that. That's what that fish is looking for.
Fascinating.
There's a little tiny leader on there. It's about 6X too.
You got that thing on 6X?
Well, I didn't feel like changing, Les. You know it's always the same way. You know what you're supposed to do, but you don't do it.
And you've already gotten a fish on it, plus you got it back out of a tree.
You've done that a few times. Now, come on. Oh, it's a nice fish.
Yeah,
He's nice. He's nice. Of course, you left the net in the car, right?
Yep.
Thanks.
It's okay. I figure if you got him on 6X, you want the entire challenge.
You're all heart. Nice guy. Come on over here. That's nice and calm now. I mean you no harm. We'll just get rid of you, fella. Come on. I'll tell you one thing, a cutthroat in the stream are a lot tougher than mini cutthroat. I'm kind of trapped in here. He's getting pretty tired.
Oh, I see your plan. Bring him down here and mess up the water I'm fishing. That's a nice fish.
You got to get him on your hand because you can't, there's no way you can use the leader.
Well, that'll teach you.
Now we'll get him up there by your feet somewhere. Okay, guy, come on. Just because you're too big for the leader, there's no reason to be. Oh, pretty fish. Nice. Look at that. Nice fish. Boy,
that's a beauty.
Is he pretty? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Well, thanks, fella. Now, Les, what do you think? We didn't exactly catch every fish in the river, but we got a few good ones.
A few good ones, and it's nice. There's a lot of size fish in there, which means it's a healthy population from the young ones right up to the big ones.
Hun, did you get? You got on one or two, didn't you?
Oh yes, I did.
I thought I saw a big one up there.
Tiniest fish of the day and a medium-sized fish. Beautiful fish.
But that's
Beautiful color, very, very peachy pink.
You think it was probably the weather? Yeah, you're looking at the weather, and it's clearing up. I wonder if that's
I think
tomorrow will be a better
yeah.
day.
You know, we fought our way through a front. We had the best fishing in the afternoon when it started to clear. We'll probably have a great time tomorrow.
I think we will too. It's a nice river, and we know the fish are here. But what do you think? We'll go back to the campsite, maybe tie a fly or two, and get some dinner.
Need a few more of those big ones.
All right.
Big fly.
Let's go. We'll be back with more fly fishing northwest from the panhandle of Idaho after these messages.
Sometimes when we're out in the field, we'll spot flies that we weren't prepared for or didn't bring with us, and such is the case today on the St. Joe. We found an amber late evening caddis. So using just a small kit, very simple. I have hooks, I have deer hair, I have dubbing. I always bring 2 or 3 good saddle hackles, and from this we can imitate a lot of flies. Maybe not as nicely as we do it at home, but certainly well enough to catch a fish with them. We're going to match that fly. We're going to use a number 10 hook. And when I travel like this, I use these midge vices, and you buy these small spools at any sewing shop, and you can carry almost as many colors as you would keep at home. We start by tying in the thread. I'm using a sort of an amber thread here. This fly's not going to look like it would at home because I don't have the light. And this is a perfect place to use this sort of an amber saddle hackle. Now pick sort of a small one because I'm going to wrap this all the way up the stem, just right. Tie it in here at the back, hard to see. That's okay, we got it. All right, we put some dubbing, spin it forward. We're using sort of a rust-colored dubbing that'll match this caddis. Then we just come forward with the hackle. Couple extra turns at the front. Lock it in good. Because even though we're making this fly just to use in the field, we want it to hold together if a fish aches it. Clip it off. The last step is just to take some fine elk hair. We don't need too much of it. I always carry a couple of patches about this size, doesn't take up much space. Now we're not going to stack the elk hair like we would do sometimes, but just going to pull out the long hairs out of there. And we hold it this way and pull those heavy ones out of this end. Now we want this thing to flare. We're going to lay it in there on top. Take a couple of easy turns, a couple of hard turns. Go underneath. Go over the top. Now lock it off with a half hitch. Pull it down nice and tight. Trim the thread. And we'll just hold that part of the wing out of our way, and we just clip that hair, leaving a little bit of a stub. And there it's ready. And now we have a nice caddis to fish with tomorrow morning.
Frankly, I hope all the people that watch the show and enjoy it, that they remember to take a little extra time and take the youngsters. I remember there were times, honestly, when, boy, it was a bother, you know, to take the kids fishing, and Elizabeth would say, come on now, they're going to appreciate it, you can do that. And we carried them on our back, and when they were old enough, I used to have Katie sitting right behind me on a cooler like this in the drift boat, you know, where I could get my hands on her if something happened to the boat with a vest on. She'd sit back there. I wouldn't want to give her a fly rod, but Elizabeth said, no, get her a fly rod. And I got one piece, one of those Lee Wolf glass rods. You remember those?
Yeah.
And she'd sit back there, and once I hear, I'd turn around and she'd be hung up with a fish. And she really got pretty darn good with that fly rod. Just a great big old green woolly one is what we'd give her.
Well, that's a good way to start them. I've been hanging on to this glass fly rod that that Daniel's using for 20 years now.
Have you really?
Waiting for the right kid to
Well,
come along.
he
and
did
get it.
marvelously
Yeah, he
today.
had fun with it. Yeah, he did great.
He brought in a fish and he hooked a fish.
Yep. And,
That's right. Did you see when he hooked that fish?
I did.
I heard this big
Upstairs.
splash and I looked down and his mouth was open, his
Okay,
eyes
keep
were
it
real
up.
big.
Reel, Dan. Way to go. Hey, all right. Okay. Get him in the water. All right. Little guy, hit your famous red fly.
Yes.
Keep the rod up. Oh, oh. It's his first trout.
Boy, get that. Gotta get a picture of that.
He made me laugh. I couldn't help it. I lost the one fish because I got laughing. I mean, his face was so funny.
Sorry. I can't keep them still. They're strong little buggers.
They are. I told you. Oh, this is a nice one. He's off. I'm sorry.
Did he forgive you?
Oh, yeah, he's forgiven me now.
That's good.
I loaned him my underwear to sleep in. So.
That's very nice.
Well, he's already got an hour on me, so I think I'm about good for the evening.
Me too. I about had it.
Good night.
Good night, Les. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Night, Les.
Good night.
Well, I think Daniel is going to be up very soon.
For those of you who like to work with their flies, one thing you can do at the end of the season, take them out of the box and all those crumpled ones that are smashed down from fish slime and everything else, just put it in a tweezers or something and hold it over a steaming kettle and it'll pop right back, look brand new. It's a nice way to cut down the high cost of fly fishing. One there and one down here. We can get down this way maybe. Get to the tail of it and then fish it back up. It's a long run is what it is. It's nice. Come on down, right down here. Right there, babe. Yeah, it's nice, Les. It's a nice run and it's got some depth for quite a way. I think Daniel probably got the biggest fish so far.
He has.
Elizabeth scores again.
Yes. Right.
This is what I told you, Les. She's beginning to do it to us. This fish is not ready for you yet.
I don't want to tire him though. Her. Oh, he's beautiful.
Pick him up in your hand.
That's a pretty one.
Gorgeous fish. Bye.
Nice clean release. It's time to educate the kids, I guess, last for a few minutes here. You know the way they hit sometimes and they're going the other way and they feel like a lot more than they are. That size the first one.
Peter, it's marvelous fishing with one's husband because one can fish right across lines and right in front of you, which I would never consider doing with anyone else. So you can consider that a compliment.
haven't seen anything come up yet, but I'm watching where you cast because I know you'll immediately be on it. How many streams do we fish left, right on, huh? A lot of rivers. Well, Les, you know, when we started this show, we said that we were going to show it like it really is, and no wild laughing and no fake fish, and we've been pretty lucky up to this point, but these cutthroat gave us a tough time.
They were not easy. They held their hiding spots pretty well. Yeah, it was tough, and we're lucky that you talked me into tying a bunch of these, or there wouldn't have been any big ones.
Well, sometimes those rubber legs, you know, a little change of pace from what they've been eating when they're not feeding well is a good answer.
Yeah, I'm a believer.
Hon, it was sure nice having you along.
Oh, I'd love to come back. It was a marvelous trip, and I thought the fishing was excellent. You gentlemen seemed to want more from the river than I, but I was delighted. It was beautiful. The fish were colorful. I caught as many as it makes me very happy. I released them. I don't need to catch lots of fish.
Well, it was fun, and we'll certainly do it again. Well, from all of us here at Fly Fishing Northwest, this is Pete Van Gytenbeek, your host, wishing you tight lines until next time.
Missed him.
A typical West Coast fisherman, you cast across the river and they're hitting right at your rod tip. Did you see that fish I lost?
Oh, this is coming right across the top of some guy. Come on.